Purr, 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 purr. This is Hildebrand with a little talk on our humans. I'm stealing the airwaves tonight from my helper, Guy Bogart, who for a few years has been telling you every week about what he calls our cats. Oh, I know he's explained that we are your cats in the sense that the USA is your country, California is your state, the heavens are full of your stars, the children of the household are yours. In that I quite agree. Why should we cats become really domesticated? We've lived about 20 times as many million years as you folks, and who knows but what we may have to carry on alone after you are gone. We hope not, for we like the arrangements and the agreements we made with you thousands of years ago, and we want them continued. So it pleases us to have you think of us in a purely non-possessive way as your cats. As a rule, we've taken you individually for better or worse or average, usually till death do us part. But there's always the unwritten code by which we may, at our will, terminate the tentative agreements. Do you know that your race, our humans, are poets at heart? Only those who have no poetry in their souls and hearts and heads could hate us. Maybe you can't express it in words, but the great cat has touched the pen of the best of your poets and sat before them for their word portraits, just as Clara Faulkner, Yilla, and Walter Chandoa have caught us so inimitably in photography. From childhood, Guy has been a reader of Algernon Swinburne, and he turns most frequently to what he thinks one of the most perfect cat poems in the world. He thinks it is equal to some of the masterpieces of the French poets, and links it with some of the stately fire of Lynn Hamilton's tributes to felines. Sometimes, as I've sat on his desk resting, or again insisting on my combing and massaging, he reads me this poem by Swinburne while I look my smuggest, knowing it is just a deserved tribute to a creature like me and my fellow felines of the KFOX family and of the world. You've heard it on our cat's airways, but purr, purr, folks, it's worth hearing again, and often as a litany of worship at the altar of Bast. I read it again, and am reading it as a tribute from cats to our humans, who, in such high pinnacles of poesy, achieve their rights to love us. To a cat, stately, kindly, lordly friend, condescend here to sit by me, and turn glorious eyes that smile and burn, golden eyes, love's lustrous meads, on the golden page I read. All your wondrous wealth of hair, dark and fair, silken shaggy, soft and bright, as the clouds and beams of night pays my reverent hand's caress back with friendlier gentleness. Dogs may fawn on all, and some as they come. You, a friend of loftier mind, answer friends alone in kind. Just your foot upon my hand softly bids it understand. Morning round this silent sweet garden seat sheds its wealth of gathering light, thrills the gradual clouds with might, changes woodland, orchard, heath, lawn, and garden there beneath. Fair and dim they gleamed below now, and glow deep as even your sun-bright eyes, fair as even the wakening skies. Can it not, or can it be, now that you give thanks to see? May not you rejoice as I, seeing the sky change to heaven revealed, and bid earth reveal the heaven is hid all night long from stars and moon? Now the sun sets all in tune. What within you wakes with day, who can say? All too little may we tell, friends who like each other well, what might haply, if we might, bid us read our lives aright. Wild on woodland ways and sires flashed like fires, fair as flame and fierce and fleet, as the wings on wingless feet shone and sprang your mother free, bright and brave as wind or sea. Free and proud and glad as they, here today rests or roams their radiant child, vanquished not but reconciled, free from curb of aught above, save the lovely curb of love. Love through dreams of souls divine fain would shine round at dawn, whose light and song then should right our mutual wrong. Speak and seal the love-lit law, sweet Assisi's seer foresaw. Dreams were theirs, yet haply may dawn a day when such friends and fellows born, seeing our earth as fair at morn, may for wiser love's sake see more of heaven's deep heart than we. Algernon Charles Swinburne wrote that. That's what we cats like, folks. Every cat is a symbol to its human pal of perfection. A few of the poets like Swinburne express it for those mute inglorious Miltons and make possible for all of us to understand more clearly what it is you love in our furred personalities. And as long as there are great poets and minor worshippers at the altar of poesy, we shall have great artists like Silence Buck Bellows until life ends, using their best literature in honor of their friendship with us cats. Maybe our humans of the KFOX circle are wondering about me, for my friend Guy has told a lot about me, so far as he feebly understands me. I'm almost 6 years old, most of this time being spent in that study on whose walls there hang pictures of me, together with those other cats, quite unnecessary it seems to me, but I'm not too fussy as long as they're only pictures. But I don't like those dozen or more cats out in Per Hall with whom he spends so many hours. My folks were aristocrats just a few generations ago, and I feel a humiliation that I also have a semi-hemi-demi taint of pedigreeism. The pals, what pals, that mother cat moved and abandoned her to the alley life where she and her daughter, my mother, met with the roving toms. I was taken into a home, but again the folks moved away and threw me into the alley when but a few weeks old. A nasty dog, not a nice one like Heidi the Dachshund of my home, chased me up into the rafters of an alley garage. Wilma Wagner, a true cat lover, walking a shortcut downtown, heard me, but could not locate me. 24 hours later, she heard me again, and this time searched until she found me. What a mess I was after 36 hours alone in fear up there. But she cleaned me up, washed and dried me. There I was, and if I do say it, as should well know, I was an exquisite mite of fluff. A bit of smoke gave me the ruff and the black muzzle and the black feet and hair just long enough to be the ideal yardage for one who prefers short-haired cats. A big dog had killed Susie, and Wilma had persuaded Guy to take a blue ball of certain Maltese persuasion from the street into his study. Then she took me to him and said 2 such wee kittens would no more than take the place of one grown cat. He knew better than that, but something bigger knew that it didn't really matter, so long as the shock came in installments. Wilma stressed that I really deserved a home. I looked my sweetest at him, for I knew he was the one I loved at first sight. In these 6 years I found a few I've liked, not too many, but for supreme love, Guy has been enough. Sandy of Little Valley and Timothy McTicklebrishers shared the bed with Uncle Penelope and me until they were killed by autos, the only 2 Daddy Guy has lost in all his life in that way. I'll not be hypocritical. I was glad that they were gone, for Guy loved them too much. Since those years, I have allowed no other cats, aside from Penelope, the good-natured one with whom I romp and play, to enter my home. I share it gladly with Guy, for that is my main reason for being here. He is not too bad, inconstant in loving all cats and spending hours patting and playing with that happenstance bunch in Per Hall. Still, he acknowledges me as the number one quintessence of all living cats, and can brag about me by the hour, and does. When I need my hair combed, my chin, jaws, ears scratched, my back massaged, he gives the 5 to 10 minutes I ask without any complaint, and kisses me between the ears on a funny little spot I have there. I don't care much for it, but since it seems to please him, I've never objected, and kind of think I like it now. Even when working 14 hours a day on income tax, he will ask a client to excuse him a few minutes if I hop onto his desk and demand attention. But I like these attentions best when he is lying down at rest. Then I can climb onto his chest, and after getting all the necessary attention, curl up on top of him for a nap. Just the other night, I had really a lot of trouble awakening him and making him understand I wanted service whenever I need it. Penelope had eaten from my plate the most of my midnight snack while I was out on the porch roof adjoining our bed, mine and Guy's. At 3:30 a.m., I scratched the sheet from his chin and tickled him in the ear with my whiskers and talked gently but firmly with him. He squinted one eye at the clock and reminded me it was just a few hours until breakfast time, and would I please curl up and let him sleep. But as he started off for the land of Nod, I raked back the sheet again, tickled his nose this time, clawed gently, and told him that since Uncle Penelope had eaten my food, I rated a post-midnight pre-breakfast bite of beef heart. Then he remembered the situation, was aware of the logic of it, and cheerfully chopped finally a slice of heart. Penelope came lumbering in from the study desk for his share. Just to make it unanimous, Guy sampled from the refrigerator a few bites of applesauce made from those big, flavorful Oak Glen apples he's always talking about, and we all slept peacefully until time for the morning news from the little radio beside the bed, by which time the three of us had slept up another appetite. Oh, I could name scores of times like this, but this shows that I have him on the whole properly tamed and trained, and I really get more satisfaction than you would think petting and pampering him and giving him all sorts of liberties in my house. I've given lots of thought to the animal called man, and I think I can pass along a bit of advice. If cats can stand the race and have chosen voluntarily to share our lives with our humans, I can't see why you can't get along with one another. Considering your short span on Earth, your race has done fairly well in an irregular and somewhat haphazard manner. You're butching up things quite in a messy fashion right now. But as a cat, confidentially sharing a cat's eye viewpoint, I assure you that you will mill through the crisis and come out, after a lot more trouble, into a saner world. You'll enjoy one another and us a lot more then, and it will be a happier existence for us. This is Hildebrand, pinch hitting for Guy Bogart, sharing my purrs in love and joy with each of you, and asking that you try to understand, really knowing us, and that will be good for each of us.